Welcome to Hidden Horrors, the show where we uncover the shadows hiding inside your favorite films. So we're going to be talking about the movie Super 8, came out in 2011, and I guess we'll really just jump right in to the horror part of this movie. What is this listed as? Like thriller, action, sci-fi?
Sci-fi thriller. It's a film that really isn't hidden horror because horror is really kind of in your face, but I don't know why this isn't labeled some type of horror. I mean, is it, super scary or no? It's not that type of film, but I feel like there are other films that are kind of in this range that are still considered, horror.
Yeah, I think for me, I think the sci-fi part of it kind of overrides that, but I guess they kind of go together. So the first thing that, I would talk about is the monster that we have, which first of all, why did they name him Cooper? When I think about Cooper, I think about just like an innocent little kid and like they named this big scary monster Cooper. All right. So with that, I mean, we don't really fully see him a lot of the time, and his presence is kind of just signaled by like the strange events with the disappearances of pets and people. Like we kind of know something is there, and I think that element of like having to use your imagination and different things can make it a little bit more horror-esque because your mind will take you to places that you have no idea.
I mean,
So
we see enough, when the thing was came across the cop at the store, the gas station or whatever.
yeah, even then I just feel like it's kind of like glimpses, like it's not like we're following it around. And
I know, but like we kind of see the destruction that it caused in the film, and the more I think about it, I just don't know why this isn't considered a horror film.
I mean, you could consider it a horror film if you want. I think a lot of times those labels are a little bit subjective, or like with some movies they just slap every single genre onto it that they can think of, and you read it, it's like 11 different things, and it's like, okay.
I feel like some people view horror as scary.
And that's it. It has to be scary. If it's not scary, then it's not horror.
Yeah, and there's a lot of horror films that aren't scary at all, but it still has the horror, label on it. So I don't know. I think there's enough elements here that this should be a horror film.
I don't disagree.
But maybe it's because it's not solely focused on the creature.
Yeah, because I think that there's a lot of other things that they go into.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as like not seeing him a ton, I do think that this adds to like the constant fear and vulnerability of the people in the town, because obviously they know something is going on, but they don't know what. And then if we kind of bring it back to that, the gore is pretty minimal, but when he does attack, it's intense and it's brutal. So I don't think that that's like a huge overall theme throughout the whole movie, because there's a lot of times when, he's not there. But, he's snatching people and throwing cars and just kind of causing general destruction. Also, the hanging of the bodies from the ceiling, that was fucking creepy. So I think that can put that in there as well. I do think that there's a lot of intense action scenes, which would play more into that action genre role. With obviously the train crash in the beginning. Also, like with that, it was very realistic. And then you also have like the trauma of these little kids standing there and witnessing the whole thing. And like, it's not even that, like the car that had come out and like kind of caused the train to crash, and that whole like sequence of events was just very shocking. I think to the children and to the audience. And then I wrote down jump scares, but really the only jump scare was like well, for me, was when he kind of burst into the gas station. With the cop and the other guy that worked there, but I thought that was pretty good. And then another kind of overall, I guess, theme is the military presence, because obviously whatever they had on that train, they wanted back. We see them counting all their little fucking, I don't even know what those were.
I don't know.
Their little cubes and stuff.
I don't know.
So I think that there was definitely kind of an abuse of power there. Kind of silencing anybody who gets in the way, don't want to answer questions. You're going to do what I say and that's it. They poisoned the scientist guy. Mm-hmm. And then obviously we see them forcing an evacuation when they just like start lighting things on fire with a fucking flamethrower. And I think that also, it completely disregards the town's safety. Like, they're already not doing great. And then it's like, okay, now we're going to force an evacuation upon all these people, probably destroy their homes even further, fuck them up. And it kind of leaves them trapped between this raging monster and the military force, because there's not really a whole lot of places for them to go. So I think that was also a pretty big aspect. But then if we kind of go further than that, I think we kind of dive into some of the childhood anxieties, the feeling helpless and alone when faced with something really terrifying. Because, like, these kids know something is going on, and none of the adults want to seem to listen until it escalates to a point where it's like, okay, obviously something is happening. But I think that happens to a lot of little kids with anything. It's like nobody wants to believe you because you're just a kid, and nobody takes you seriously. And then it's like, hello, here's this giant red flag waving in your face. And, you know, even just kind of having the adults work against them for the most part. But again, I think I would just go back to the main thing being Cooper, being the main theme of horror in here. But I do also want to talk about Joe's grief over his mother's death real quick, because I think if we take that and compound that with an alien invasion, it kind of adds a lot of emotional weight to it. And we even see him kind of connect with Cooper. And so I think that kind of layering all those things together, the trauma and the loss and the bond there, was kind of a really unique aspect of things to the film. So, yeah, like I said, I think Cooper is really the main source of the horror here. But
the design of the creature in this film came out before A Quiet Place, but it has like a similar look.
That is true. I had never really thought about that. I didn't.
And also, this film came out before Stranger Things, and they kind of have a similar vibe to Stranger Things.
That's fair. Yeah, you got the little group of kids. You got the big scary monster. You know, I definitely didn't think about that, but that is a good comparison.
I don't think we gave like a whole lot of spoilers away. If you haven't seen this film, it's definitely a good film to check out. I would like to know some people's thoughts. Like, do you consider this a horror film, or do you throw it kind of in the same category as like a E.T. or you know, something like that? Because, you know, E.T. isn't a horror film.
No.
You know, but yeah, I wonder why this isn't considered a horror film.
Who is in charge of like labeling the things? Is it the people that like produce the movie, or is it somebody else? Like, I see you looking at IMDb. Is it somebody named fucking Greg sitting at IMDb and he's like sorting these movies into genres, or like who's in charge of that?
Well, like as far as like, you know, on IMDb or even Google, you know, and stuff, whoever runs that, they, you know, they put whatever they want.
Interesting.
I mean, but, you know, I mean, because on IMDb, you know, any movie you go to, it's like 5 different genres that is labeled as, and you know, it doesn't need, like, you don't have to give every type of fucking feeling of the film as the genre. Like, what's the overall genre? What's the overall feeling of the film?
Right.
You know, and maybe that's why it's not considered horror, because this does feel more like a sci-fi
And that's
thriller.
kind of my thoughts is I think that the sci-fi part of it kind of overrides the horror when that's just kind of like sprinkled in. So I don't
Yeah.
think that that's like the main theme.
So maybe this one isn't really a hidden horror. It's like a slightly visible horror.